Today we're going to chat about sets and set notation. So a set is just a collection of numbers or objects where each number or object in the set is called an element. Usually we write these with set braces, so those are like those squiggly brackets, okay? There's a lot of different symbols listed here. I'm not going to read them all out because we're about to go through them one by one. The one that we won't maybe go through one by one is these first two. This thing that looks kind of like an E is telling you that something is an element of the set. And if you have a slash through it, obviously it means it's not an element. We'll talk about the rest individually. But if you see that little E, it means that something is inside of a set. Okay, first up, the infinite set has an unending list of distinct elements. For example, if I say 1, 2, 3, and then dot, 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 the 3 dots or the ellipses points tell me that that keeps going on forever, which is why it's then infinite, okay? Whereas a finite has a set numbered, has a limited number of elements, so it's not going to go on forever. There's not an infinite amount. Okay, let's talk about set builder notation. What set builder notation says is that, hey, any x will work so long as it has certain properties. So if you say like x, so long as what it says here, x has property p. Or you could say, for example, x such that x is a counting number less than 7, and that would give you a set to make, right? All right, so we're going to identify each of these sets as either finite, so has a certain limited number of elements, or infinite. And then determine if 8 is an element of the set. So we've got 5, 6, 7. Those 3 dots tell me we're going to continue this pattern up until 10. So is that finite or infinite? Well, does it have a set amount or does it have an infinite amount, an unlimited amount? Well, it would only have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So only those 6 elements. So this is finite. And the question is 8 an element of the set? Well, yeah, because those 3 dots tell me that 8 would be in between there, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. X, where x is a fraction between 9 and 10. Okay, well, is 8 there? No, but the question is it infinite? Does it have an unlimited amount of elements, or is it a limited amount of elements? You think you have 9 1/2, 9 1/4. But fractions, you can get super small, 9 and 1/1000. So this is actually infinite because you can continue to make fraction after fraction. In between the numbers, 9 and 10 on a number line, there is an infinite amount of fractions or rational numbers. So infinite, is 8 a part of it? Well, no, because we know it's in between 9 and 10. X, where x is a natural number between 7 and 9. Natural numbers would be like your counting numbers. So if it's a natural number between 7 and 9, then we're talking about 8, right? Is that an infinite amount? No, because there's only one natural number in between. So we have a certain limited amount. So that is for sure finite. And is 8 a part of it? Yes. Because 8 is a counting number that's in between 7 and 9. Talk about the universal set. The universal set contains all the elements appearing in any set used in the given problem. This letter U is used to represent the universal set. So we'll see more of that in a second. So basically it's got all of them. If I have set A, set B, the universal set takes everything we see in both set A and set B and puts it together. Okay. A null or empty set would be the set that contains absolutely no elements. For example, the set of all the U.S. states bordering Hawaii is the null set. Why? Because obviously Hawaii has no states, right, that border it, and so that makes it the empty set. We either write this with 2 notations. Probably in this class you'll see me write the one that kind of looks like a 0 with a slash through it. You'll see me write that more often for the empty set, or you could use empty little brackets, but don't combine the 2 symbols. You need to pick one, okay? Okay, let's talk about subsets. If I've got A, or set A to be 2, 5, and 9, and B is 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10, then obviously you can see that I have that 2, 5, and 9 is also in set B, which is why we then say A is a subset of B, because all the elements in A are in B. Okay, let's talk about complements. So for given set A and a universal set U, the set of all the elements of U that do not belong to A is your complement. So if you think about like complementary colors, they're opposites, so like red and green, or was it orange and blue? So these are opposites of each other. So if I say I've got A here, if you look at this one, A is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but the universal set is all of those counting numbers between 1 and 10. Then the complement of A is everything that's not A. So this reads as, here's how I read it at least, not A. Okay. So then the complement of A would be, draw your little squiggly lines, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So everything that's not in A, but also still in the universal set. So now for our universal set, for the next example, we have all the counting numbers from 1 to 9. A is 2, 4, 6, 8, and B is only 3, 6, and 9. So let's first find the complement of A, or not A. So when it's not A, but in the universal set, we're looking for everything that A does not have. So 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So it happens to be the same thing as the last one. The next one will be different though, because we're saying complement of B or not B, right? So if B is only 3, 6, and 9, then I'm taking everything else. So I might underline these. Here's 3, 6, and 9. So everything that's not that, so that would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. Next up is intersection. So intersection is like the word and. I see intersection or that upside down U. When I ask for the intersection, I'm asking for, it needs to be in both sets. So given two sets A and B, the sets of all elements belonging to both sets, which is why I'm saying and. So if you have like a Venn diagram, it's that section there in the middle, written as A with that upside down U, B. So look at this example. It says find the following, find the intersection between 15, 20, 25, and 30. And then the set 12, 18, 24, and 30. So I'm going to use this little Venn diagram over here to label these numbers. The one you see that you have in common is 30. So over here in the first set, we've got 15, 20, 25. The one they have in common is 30. And then the other set has 12, 18, and 24 as well. So when I talk about the intersection, I'm talking about this part here, right, that they overlap in. And so the intersection between these two sets would just give me the set of 30, because that's the only one they have in common, that they both have and. Two sets are disjoint if they have no elements in common, and that's when you use the empty set. So if I had nothing in common here, then I would say that the intersection of A and B is a disjoint set. Obviously this one had something in common. And then the last thing is union. Union is the or. Okay? The set of all elements belonging to set A or set B or to both. So you got to include everything that's listed. So for example, if I've got the union between 1, 3, 5 and 3, 5, 7, 9, so you can see the one I have in common is the 5. So let's go ahead and label these. So we've got 1, 3, 5 they have in common. Oh, sorry, no, they also have 3 in common, don't they? Okay, so 1, 3, and 5 they have in common. My bad. And then this other set also has 9 and 7. So when I do the union, I'm taking all of those elements and putting them in one big set, which is why you see your answer is this, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So let's basically just list everything you see once.